So you're thinking about moving or relocating here in New Braunfels, Texas, and you're wondering what the current real estate market is like? You've probably heard some rumors about how crazy things are, and you're just wondering if it's a good time to buy or sell real estate right now? Well, in this video, we're going to go over just that, so stay tuned. What up, y'all? It's Travis Stegall with eXp Realty right here in New Braunfels, Texas. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about working, playing, hanging out, being a part of the community right here in New Braunfels, Texas, then hit that subscribe button and click that little bell. That way you're notified every time we drop a new video. And honestly, my team and me are getting calls every single week from folks just like you who are looking into New Braunfels, Texas. So if you're thinking about moving or relocating anywhere in the New Braunfels area, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, however way you want to get a hold of us. We got your back when moving to Texas. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so you're thinking about moving or relocating here in New Braunfels, and you want to know what it's like currently here in New Braunfels, Texas real estate market. You know what the competition is like, what you might run up against when you're trying to buy a house or trying to sell a house. The real estate market is crazy right now. There's a lot of contributing factors to the low inventory and high demand, and so let's go over some of these factors. Low inventory caused, there's a lot of reasons for the low inventory, but it was kind of kicked off by the COVID or the coronavirus. And so that made people scared to sell their houses. They didn't want other individuals walking inside their house, possibly bringing in whatever kind of germs and sicknesses they might have. And then this also slowed down the production of new construction houses. A lot of the laborers and the contractors, they weren't wanting to go to work there for a few months last year, and now everyone's back to construction houses. A lot of the laborers and the contractors, they weren't wanting to go to work there for a few months last year, and now everyone's back to work. Contractors for the most part are all on the job sites building these new houses, but we're still feeling the effects of last year in 2020 with the coronavirus. And so also, so that's going to drive the inventory down. But when all that happened, the government came out and started lowering the mortgage interest rates. Just in 2020 alone, we saw over a 15% increase in the average sales price. So you went from having an average sales price for $245 to now $275, $280. So it's a significant increase. Also, I've seen some stuff recently of your property taxes, the assessed value going up tremendously. And so if you don't have a homestead exemption, that could jump up 20, 30, 40%. I've heard some stories of. So you want to make sure, if this is your full-time primary residence, that you get that homestead exemption. We'll go over homestead exemption in another, but if you're already living here and you want to know more about what it is, reach out to me, send me a message, send me a text, drop a comment, and I'll be happy to help you with any questions you might have on homestead exemption. But I'm going to tell you some stories to give you kind of an idea of what we are running up against in the New Braunfels real estate market. And so, recently I've had some clients in the $300,000 and less price range looking for a resale property here in New Braunfels. Anything in that $300,000 and less price range, the stuff is going quick. it's not lasting on the market more than 2-3 days, as long as it's priced, fairly competitive. And when you do go and view the properties and have your showings, you're gonna have a line before you go in and a line after you come out. It's just everywhere. And this issue isn't just in this price range of $300,000 or less. I'm just saying this is probably the most competitive. All the price ranges are going to be, surprisingly pretty competitive. I had another client the other day looking in the higher tier price range of, he was looking at a house that was $1.2 million. And, I was talking with my client and we were thinking, hey, at this price range, hopefully it's not very competitive and that we might have a few days or, some time to make some decisions, to really do our due diligence to make sure it's going to be a good investment for him. So when I called up the listing agent on that $1.2 million listing, it had only been on the market for 2 days and they already had 3 offers. I don't know if they were full price offers. We ended up not pursuing that property. It was gorgeous. It just, my clients were out of state. They're going to be coming actually this week to visit. And so we just decided we're going to do in-person viewings before they really pull the trigger on an investment that large. Unfortunately, that house is already under contract, so we won't be able to go and view it and make any offers. But that just kind of shows you throughout all the price ranges, as long as the house is competitively priced, it's going to go off the market quick. And then, so also, a lot of people, when they move to New Braunfels, they kind of know about a little bit about the hill country, because New Braunfels is right on the border of the hill country. And so they're wanting some of those hill country views and large lots. And there's only a handful of neighborhoods that really provide that amenities and what they're looking for. And all the houses that pop up in those neighborhoods, same thing, they're quite a bit higher priced. You're talking about mid-5s and up, and even those houses are extremely competitive. The other day, it was funny, I went and showed a house. It was $750,000, beautiful house. And towards the end of my showing, I was coming around the front. I was on a virtual FaceTime tour, and so I was coming around the front of the house with my phone recording, looking at the exterior of the home. And as I'm doing that, this golf cart pulls up. And so I tell my clients that I'm on FaceTime with, I'm like, hey, I think the homeowners just pulled up. And so we go inside, I get everything wrapped up, and we go to leave. And after I leave, I asked the people in the golf cart, I was like, oh, are y'all the homeowners? And they were like, no, we're just the next people that are gonna come view the property. And I was like, so they must be really local to that neighborhood. It was in Havenwood. Havenwood's a beautiful neighborhood with very large lots of custom homes, great amenities, over 3 swimming pools, tennis courts, basketball courts, walking trails. It's just got a lot to offer. The houses there, I said, like starting in the mid-5s and then go up. So I just, want to make you aware of what you're going to run into when you are looking to buy here in New Braunfels. A lot of people are going super crazy and like waiving contingencies for an appraisal, waiving contingencies for an inspection. Thankfully, I haven't had any clients that want to go that route, and I don't really ever recommend that route. It's just not good practice. Unless the clients that I have are just dead set on this is the house. They don't care what it's gonna have issues that might arise after they buy it, but this is the one. I know right up the road in Austin, Texas, they've been doing that for quite some time, waiving contingencies for an appraisal and inspection. And I know people are doing it here in New Braunfels as well, just not as much. Also some of these houses that are super competitive, almost all of them are selling well over list price. So you might see a house, in New Braunfels and you're thinking, oh, 260, 270, that's super reasonable. I could afford that, but unfortunately, that's just the list price. And unless the house is just priced way too high, most sales prices are exceeding the list price. So there's a huge difference between the list price and the sales price. In Texas, it's a non-disclosure, so you don't ever have to tell anyone how much you sold the house for. And that's why even places like Zillow and Realtor.com, Redfin, they don't have that information of how much the house is sold for. So that's just something to keep in mind. As an agent, as a realtor, I do have the capabilities of seeing what house is sold for through our local MLS. So that's one way we figure out how to run comparable houses. Comparable market analysis is also a CMA. And so that's really how we're defining on what we should list the house for. And normally, like I said, if the list price is fairly accurate, fairly competitive, then the house is going to sell quick, and probably 9 times out of 10 it's going to sell for well over the list price. Another story, I just helped some family get into a home in the North San Antonio area in Shirts, right in our back door here in Braunfels. And so the house was listed at $240. We came in at $245. The agent said no. We came in at $247. Said no. And then we're like, okay, $250. Like, all right, that's the magic number. Let's go. And so we were able to get this house under contract for my clients for $250,000. It's 2,200 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, built in 2019. And so, you're probably thinking, oh dang, that's a big house, newer construction. All the bedrooms are upstairs, and there's a 2-story. But when the appraisal came back at $240. And so there was a difference of $10,000. Thankfully, my clients, they put, I believe, like 35% down. And so it didn't affect their loan whatsoever, because the principal was less than what the appraisal was for. So everything was fine on that end. And my client called me like, Travis, what do you think? What should I do? And I was like, honestly, I think that at $250, you're getting a screaming deal. And I let him know that I had recently been in that same area with another client trying to find that pretty much that same house, and I couldn't do it. I wasn't finding any houses for $250,000 that was 2,000 square feet or over, where everything was going well $15,000 over list price. And at that point, my clients that I was working with at that time, they weren't interested in doing that, and they also weren't interested in purchasing a house that was higher than the appraised value. But I let them know that I believe that the appreciation over the next few years is going to continue to rise. And then also another thing that I want to clear the air on, and a lot of people, they think that there's some kind of market guru. I'm definitely no market guru, but I will tell you, on my opinion of what I believe the real estate market is like right now, I don't think it's a bubble. I don't think it's going to pop. I don't think prices are going to go down. I think they're going to level out. I think interest rates are going to rise, so the demand of the buyers are going to go down. And I think people are going to be so scared to have other individuals walk into their home. I feel like vaccines go up, the more people are going to have confidence in just their health, and so that more houses are going to come on the market, and you're just going to see the scale start to even out. You're not going to have low inventory and high demand. You're going to have it's going to even out. The demand's going to come down because interest rates are going to go up, and then inventory is going to go up. New construction is going to get on top of it, and then also resell. People aren't going to be so scared to have it have other individuals in their house. So I believe the market's going to level out and it's just going to kind of plateau. Right now, the average price of homes is just continuing to rise. I think it's always going to continue to rise, but it's going to stay on a little flatter path instead of just this crazy trajectory that we have it on right now. It's just not sufficient for it to continue like this. I think if it does continue like this for maybe another year or so, then yes, we're going to be in a bubble 100%. But I just don't feel that, at least this current market, I know there are other markets in the country that are experiencing this same issue in real estate, and they might be in a bubble, but here in Texas, I do not believe we're in a bubble. And so hopefully that gives you a little bit of confidence to know that now is not a bad time to buy here in New Braunfels or in Texas in general. I think more people are going to continue to flock to this state. I believe it has lots of things to offer. I was talking with a client the other day, and they were wanting to know what I thought of the appreciation value here in New Braunfels versus northern San Antonio. And it's a difficult question to ask. I can't predict the future. It's like asking someone if they could tell you what the stock market's going to do in 5 years. No one knows what the stock market's going to be like in 5 years. And so I did let her know, however, that with Texas having some low income state taxes that are no income state taxes, and then also some other factors that make it very good for corporations, that you already are seeing large corporations starting to relocate their headquarters and corporate offices to Texas. And so, with that being said, I told her, I don't know, I already knew of some huge manufacturing facilities that are coming to San Antonio. I know Toyota Trucks is already here, Toyota Cars is already here, and then International Trucks, the big 18-wheelers, they're moving a manufacturing facility to San Antonio. And I let her know, my client, I let her know that, we don't know what corporations are going to continue to come to Texas. And if you have a huge company like what's going on in Austin, where Tesla and Google and Apple and everyone's moving their technology companies to Austin, Texas, if you have some of those same high paying industry jobs start moving to San Antonio, you're going to see appreciation value tremendous. It's going to just appreciate greatly here in San Antonio. New Braunfels, I feel like New Braunfels always has a ton to offer people. What's great about New Braunfels, people could live here in New Braunfels and still commute to Austin or San Antonio. So you could already see the surrounding cities of Austin start to really have some great appreciation in their homes, just because Austin's growing so much. And so New Braunfels also has a ton to offer with our outdoor activities and our recreation. We have 2 amazing rivers that run right through our town. Our downtown is beautiful. It's a small downtown that people just kind of love, and it's not the big city like a San Antonio or an Austin, so it allows people to get away from that, but also still provides a ton of family activities and oriented around the family. And so I think New Braunfels is always going to be a safe bet to invest. And then also, I just love living here. When you do have the 2 rivers that run through town, it makes it great for outdoor activities. I've told you all on this channel before that I love swimming, I love being outdoors, I love fishing, and so it's just a great place for me and my family. But yeah, I just want to let you guys know, if you guys are looking over to move or relocate here in town, just be ready for what it's like. It's competitive. It's very competitive. If you're on the buying side, just be ready that you're going to compete with other people, and that you're going to have to probably go over list price. you know. And then there's also some other factors that you're going to want to talk over with your lender, just because if we have to go over list price and we have a situation like that happened with my clients where the appraisal came in $10,000 less than what we ended up selling it for or purchasing it for, then in a typical situation, you know, if you have a conventional or an FHA loan where you have a very small down payment, if that principal doesn't cover what the house appraised for, then you have to come out of pocket with cash to close in order to buy that house. So that's another thing to think about is, you know, if you're looking for a house that's $260, or let's say you get pre-approved for $300,000 and you're looking at houses that are $300,000, you know, there's obviously a good chance you're going to have to go above $300,000 because everything's going over list price. And then also, if it doesn't appreciate for what you guys made an offer on, that you're going to have to come out of pocket with cash. And so it's just something you want to be prepared and make sure you're ready for. Now, if you're on the selling side, it's a heyday. I mean, you guys have multiple offers on everything. So if you are thinking about, you know, upsizing or downsizing, now would be a great time, especially on the downsizing. You know, you could sell at a real high right now, and then whatever you're trying to get into, if it's downsizing, you'll be fine. Upsizing, you're going to run into some of the issues that the buyers are having where it's just low inventory. But, you know, if you guys have any other questions about what the current market is like here in New Braunfels, please drop a comment, send me a text, you know, give me a call, send me an email, you know, however you want to get a hold of us. I have your back when moving to Texas. Bye.